Fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. Tonight, we're going to talk about building a leg. We're going to give you a real life scenario of what's happened on this leg and exactly how that happened. So a lot of people that have not done network marketing before are really probably not aware of how this leg can develop. And so we're going to talk to you about how that happened on this team specifically. So we've got Peg Coates joining us tonight from Denver, Colorado. We've got Michael Martin also coming in from the Denver area here in Colorado. And Bo and I here are also in the Colorado area. So welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on the call tonight.
Honored to be here.
Absolutely. So when this whole adventure started, Chuck and Tammy, some friends of ours, reached out and told us about ASEA. And we didn't know anything about it, had never heard about these molecules, but we had worked with Chuck and Tammy before. So that was our connection. And so they had to, even though we loved Chuck and Tammy, they had to expand our vision before we could see what they saw. And so the way they did that is they got us to a fly-in. And because our big objection was we wanted to see who was running the company. And so as soon as we were able to meet the people that were running the company, we got a much bigger vision of what was possible with this incredible technology paired with these incredible people and this amazing timing in this incredible business model. So we decided to jump in with both feet, and we called Peg. And Peg and I had worked together before in another business. And so Peg, do you remember how that whole conversation went?
I do remember. It was really pleasant to hear from you. I hadn't heard from you for a while. And, it was so interesting, Cindy, because you told me about this company and you were calling me predominantly, I think, to be in the business. And I'm pretty loyal. I was still kind of hung up on my other company. And, I agreed I would give it a try because I needed it for my own, health, really. And when I got phenomenal results with it, you invited me to go with you to a fly-in. One of the things you said, though, Cindy, that got me really excited was about the ethos. You said this company puts principles and purpose over ego and economics. And I was just like, wait, what? I was like pretty stunned by that and very drawn to it. And then I went with you to the fly-in. It was done. It was a done deal. When I met Virtus and Tyler and that whole team and the people that were being attracted, it was a no-brainer, really.
Right. So once you had decided that this was a place that you were going to put your time and energy into, then you reached out to Tina and Mike Saul, right?
Yes.
Now, Mike was really sick, as I remember at the time, and was really in desperate need of the product. And so they decided to come on as associates and give the product a try. And after they had phenomenal product results, both Tina and Mike, they knew that this was just something unlike anything else out there. And they started reaching out as well. And they reached out to a woman named Carol Carter. And the connection was you had worked with Tina and Mike before, so had I. So we all knew each other. We all trusted each other. We all liked each other. So there was a bond there, and it was easier than talking to somebody that you had no credibility with, right?
Right. And, they brought in some really stellar people too. Carol Carter is a beautiful, generous person whose focus is on service, big time, and who also had tremendous results with the technology, absolutely phenomenal results with that. And she came on board as well. And she's the moving force behind the rest of this leg that we're going to be learning about tonight, for sure. She came on board and she's been very consistent in talking with people, working with different networking groups. And that's what got her connected to Mary.
So Mary, you can tell us your end of the story, but from what we understand, Carol's in a BNI group, or a business networking international group, where they're networking and sharing leads with each other, helping each other build their business. And so Carol was introduced to a woman who's a friend of yours, Mary. And so tell us a little bit how that happened. So Carol reached out. Carol knows your friend. What's your friend's name?
Vanessa.
Vanessa. And so Carol and Vanessa, Carol was familiar with what Vanessa did for work, and Vanessa was familiar with ASEA because of Carol. And so but Carol didn't know you, right?
She did not.
So how did you get into this whole ASEA picture?
I'm in Texas, and so I was planning to make a trip to Colorado to visit everyone there, whoever I could. And Vanessa was one of them, and I fell at work not too long before then, couldn't get results back and various issues. I decided not to make the trip. And so I was calling Vanessa and telling her, hey, I'm waiting for these results. Don't make sense to be in the car all day. I'd been on some antibiotics for a wound I had on my knee, and those were just making me really tired. And it seemed, even though I was off it, I was just having problems getting my energy back after that. She said, hey, you need to, check out these ASEA products. There's a gel and a drink that she currently was using. She had 3 boys, and she said that's the only thing she's used on her boys growing up. And she takes the ASEA Redox every day and has more energy, and she goes all day. She's a Mary Kay director, so she's always going all day. And so I said, okay. And I kind of left it at that, and tried to do some research on my own. Maybe there was somebody locally in Texas I could get it from, try to understand it all. And finally, I just reached back out to Vanessa. It's like, hey, how can I get this product? I really think I do want to try it. And then she said, oh, I'll hook you up with Carol. And I do think that Carol then reached out to me.
So Vanessa, her business focus is on Mary Kay. It's not on ASEA. So, but she loves the product. So she, as a customer of Carol's, referred you to Carol as another customer, right?
Yes.
So you became a customer, and what happened when you started using the ASEA products?
I found I wasn't having to take a nap all weekend. I was having more energy. Little things started to change. I always had some problems with retaining fluid. And that was kind of part of the problem I had with my leg. When I fell, I was getting a lot of extra fluid. So it really did help to keep that moving and get it out of my system.
So then you and Michael were friends. How do you and Michael know each other?
Through Premier Designs Jewelry.
So that's another direct sales company, right?
Yes.
So you guys are familiar with the model. Have you done network marketing before, or just direct sales?
Mostly just direct sales.
Direct sales. Okay. So how did you introduce Michael to ASEA?
Well, she'll tell you her story. She fell, and I was doing a little check-in call, seeing how she was doing, and she was kind of telling me, oh, she wished, it was speedier. She still has problems, with this getting enough motion in her wrist and such. And, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner when she fell, but I thought, hey, I have this gel, I can send it to you and see if it will help, because I really hadn't researched it that much.
So at this point, you're an ASEA customer, and you're reaching out to your friend Michael and saying, hey, I've got the tube of this gel. I'll send it over to you. Maybe it'll help you feel better. So you sent her a tube of gel. And what happened, Michael? What happened when you got this crazy gel that your friend Mary was sending you?
Well, I actually, as Mary said, I was having my pity party and I wanted to heal faster. And she actually sent me a little care package, sent me actually the shirt we have on, and sent me the gel. She's like, I'm a customer. I don't know if this is going to help you or not. Try it out. So I get the package, you know, I'm looking through it. I see this gel. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I've never heard of this company, but having been in direct sales before and in network marketing since I was 18 years old, and Premier Designs had actually shut their door. I wasn't looking for necessarily a business opportunity at that time, but I looked at this product and I started Googling it, and, you know, I saw that you could find it on Amazon. Didn't know much about it, but then I started going to some of the websites through just the company on their own, because Mary didn't, you know, being a customer, she didn't have any of that or didn't know what to do or tell me. And she was just trying to help me out and try to get me through the pain. And so I thought, well, you know, give it a try. And for whatever reason, I took a picture of my wrist and of my hip where my incisions were, and didn't know I should have. And so I'm glad I did. But not even 48 hours later, one of my main pain areas in my wrist, significant change. And so I was very glad that I had taken a picture, because then now, like I said, not 48 hours later, I took another picture and I showed my husband, and he's like, wow, there's something to this. And I said, yeah, I said, you know, I'm going to reach back out to Mary. They have a liquid that I want to try. I, you know, don't know anything about it. And so long story short, I reached out to Mary and I told her, hey, I want to get a hold of this liquid. And she said, okay, I'll put you in touch with Carol. And then I started doing some more research on my own. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what it is. I don't care about the compensation plan. I don't care about anything. That's not what I'm looking for. But I am smart enough to know, since I've been in network marketing and direct sales, I'm the type of person, if it's something I like, something I believe in, I'm going to tell everybody. So I'm like, I'm stupid enough, you know, I would be stupid if I didn't just go ahead and enroll myself as an associate. And talk to my husband. And I just said, hey, I'm going to sign up in this company just so I can get it, you know, at cost. I didn't know about the loyalty reward points. I didn't know about the compensation plan. I didn't really care, because I just know who I am and what I would do. So signed up for it. Couldn't get a hold of Carol fast enough. And I told Mary, hey, I'm going to sign up in this. So Mary, because of us being together in another direct sales company, she was smart enough to know that I better sign up first. So she signed up, and then I signed up, and it was all within like, what, an hour or two of each other. And I was like, just give me the link. You know me, I don't need to be guided along the way, which a lot of people do, because they either one, have never had any experience in this, or very new to it. But because it's in my blood, I'm like, just give me the link. I know what I'm doing. And it was funny because my husband then later is like, what's the compensation plan? I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. And then, you know, I don't know, a week or so go by. And that's when we reached out to you and found out more about that. And now obviously we're pursuing it as a business. So.
Excellent. So now since then you've reached out to several people and they've joined you, some of them just as customers to enjoy the product, and others really want to build a business and help get the word out, just like you and Mary and Peg and myself and Carol and all of us are doing. So, so that's kind of how this whole business works. And so we thought we'd give you kind of, a look in. One thing that I know Peg and Carol and I were all so impressed by is that when, I think it was Peg mentioned, hey, are you guys going to go to convention? You both said, you know what, I think we should go. And so after you rearranged some things and you decided to show up. And when you showed up at convention, we're like, wow, these guys are serious, because people that are really serious about building a business come to convention and do their due diligence. And, you know, we know that once you get the bigger picture, which we can't possibly give you by ourselves, it's something you have to experience by being in the ASEA environment, then you get a much bigger picture. So what happened when you went to convention? Did you get a bigger picture when you attended convention?
Mary, I'll let you answer first.
Oh, for sure. It was great seeing all. I thought it was just like a US convention, but there was lots of attendees internationally. It was great to see that. The camaraderie is something I've not really noticed from other conventions I've went to.
I think the camaraderie is one thing. for those that are tuning into this call, you know, the whole thing with Crossline, that was huge for me, having come from a couple other different companies over the years, like I said, since I was 18 years old. And I really liked that it didn't matter who was upline, crossline, any direction, people were willing to share and talk and help. It wasn't all about, you know, you can't talk to somebody crossline over here because gosh forbid, you know, they tell our secrets, you know. Everybody was willing to help. I really liked that a lot. Very low key. I did like that it wasn't a whole lot of, I mean, yes, it was, you know, a motivating type thing, but it wasn't like putting everybody up on a pedestal. All of you that have higher clout or, you know, at a higher level, you guys intermix with all of us, so to speak, peons, or the people that are newbies. I really liked that because I've been with other companies where everybody that was above me was put on a pedestal. Sometimes you kind of felt like you were like the ground. And so I really like that difference. There's a huge difference with this company that I've noticed than other companies I've been involved with. So it was fabulous. And I know that, you know, we both had joined, I think we got involved at the end of February, and convention was what, April, something like, so I mean, it was like 30 days and we were ready to go. You know, it's like Peg, I think, mentioned it to us. I'm like, yeah, we're going, we'll figure it out. So I know you got to be there. So
absolutely. So they say you build a fire from below. So the deeper down the leg that there is activity and volume and sponsorship, the more life is in that leg. And so I know that you guys have been focused on putting on events, and I know that people on your team, whether you can support them or not, you know, sometimes I'm there doing Zooms with you, sometimes Peg's doing events, you know, with your people, even if you can't attend. So let's talk a little bit about how we all work together to help the people who have just come in the business be successful, so that, I mean, because their success is our success. There's no sense in us holding any information back. We hope that they're more successful at this than we are, because that's the way this business works. We get a percentage of their success. So we want to help them be as successful as they want to be. So let's talk about some of the things that we've done to help you guys get your business off the ground, and how you've helped other people get their businesses off the ground.
Peg?
Well, you know what? I think it's really important that there's duplication. So being an exemplar of that, you know, kind of showing people the way along the road, being there for people, certainly being available for questions and being available to do whatever is necessary to help people get going, you know, whether that's doing an event, whether that's doing a Zoom, or whether that's encouraging people to look ahead at the next big event. You know, we got a couple of things going on right now. Mary is in Texas, so we need to get her hooked up with some of what some of the activities that are going on. I know in July there's a big event in Dallas, and I know that's a drive for Mary, but still it's different than Las Vegas. It's not near as far. And so, you know, to get people hooked up to those and help people stay in the know of what's happening is critical. And, you know, this leg that's growing now, Michael's got two other people now that are really excited. One woman is already committed to start doing monthly meetings at her home. And so we start that this week. Another one, a new associate of Michael's, we have another event with her. Her mom lives in a senior center, and we're going to be going there, doing a senior coffee presentation there, which will be exciting because it'll be the first time Michael and I work together in the presentations that we'll be doing, so we can start to have fun that way as well. She can see how it is that the events that we've done so far have been done with Debbie Wetzler, Jackie, and myself. So she hasn't seen me work that way yet. And of course, we've got all the logistics we get to work through, you know, who's bringing what about the samples, what about the cords to connect to all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, we're down into the nitty gritty, but the beautiful thing, and those of you that are on tonight, if you're salivating, you should be, because what happens is you wait for, and you never know who's going to show up. I mean, Carol met Mary through a networking person who wasn't even in our company, who got Mary excited, connect the dots. And then Mary knew enough, as Michael said, she was smart enough to know, I better sign up before Michael does. And that, and now Michael's just going for it. And the beautiful thing is, that was an unusual connection, right? I mean, we think we have to go prospect somebody who has been in the business, been around the block, all of that. But sometimes you won't get to them in any different way than how this happened. Seriously. And so it's such a pleasure to work with somebody where you basically get out of the way, be there as a resource, and let the person who has the knowledge from the past go ahead and go. The wonderful thing about being at convention for me was to be able to connect these guys with other people that I've made friends with along the way, who were in the top tier of our company, who didn't hesitate at all to say, look, if you need help, we're here. If you need us to do Zooms, we're here. And I love the fact too, Michael, that we're not about cross-line. We're going to work together. We're one team, one dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to say too that kind of like what you were saying as far as how I got into the business, I always call it a thin thread. You never know what that thin thread, how thin that thread can be, that, you just got to open your mouth. And, if they say no, next, move to the next one. But you never know where that little thin thread, where that little contact's going to go. Or, Mary, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were like even a customer for like a year, half a year or something.
Correct.
I mean, some time went by, and she just happened to say something to me because I had an injury. Now, knowing me and Mary, at some point in time, she probably would have brought it up to me anyway. But it's, again, that thin thread. You just got to open your mouth and see where it takes you, so.
Absolutely. And it helps that ASEA is so unique. I mean, there's no competition in the world for what we have. So we are approaching a solution for cellular health, unlike any other company on the planet, inside and outside network marketing. So we really stand out from any other company out there in what we do. There's a lot of other companies that do a lot of different things, but when it comes to ASEA, we're the only company that works with redox signaling at the cellular level. So it really sets us apart from any other company out there. So the best thing we can do is make sure that people associate us with ASEA. So when there's a need for ASEA, they refer that person to us, right? So, yeah, and now we're helping. They say that every person has a sphere of influence of a minimum of 250 people, and so as you've now reached down into your sphere of influence, Michael, you've reached out to Angela, and now we're into her sphere of influence, and Tammy, we're into her sphere of influence. And so instead of just going and sponsoring somebody else, it's really important to work with them. They've already said, I want to build a business. There are people out there that just want to enjoy the product, and you want to make sure that you ask them, please refer me if you know anybody that, needs this product or wants to know more about this product. Please give them my name and my phone number so they can, so that we can help them. But now we're going to set up some kind of infrastructure so that we can help Angela be successful, help Tammy be successful. And when they find their people that put their hand up and say, I want to build a business with you, then we're going to set up infrastructure to help those people be successful and get into their sphere of influence so that we can see who they know. Because, I mean, I love this because I didn't know you. Peg didn't know you. I didn't know Mary. Peg didn't know Mary. And Carol didn't even know Mary, which is the the coolest thing about this is that it was actually a friend of Carol's that knew Mary that, you know, brought Mary into the fold and then you into the fold. So you just never know where it's coming from. And I'll tell you what, you got to be bold and you got to ask for what you want so that people understand how they can help you. Because if we don't tell them how they can help us, they don't know how they can help us. And most people want to help other people, right?
Right. Yeah, you know, the other thing that is really exciting for me, for Michael, and for all of us is that, well, two things. First of all, there was a common why. You know, Michael wants to bring her husband home from work. So Cindy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? And you did it, right? The other thing too is, you know, Angela wants to get out of what she's doing as well. You know, she has got European connections. She's actually from Europe, is she not, Michael?
Yeah.
And so this is opening up a whole international leg possibility. And Angela's already registered an interest in going to Budapest to the European conference, ASEA European conference. So it's just a wonderful thing to behold and to witness when you start to see these connections and these spheres of influence and light people up from their why, the thing that really gets them excited. Mm-hmm. Right, Michael? And you want to kind of leave as well, right? You don't just want to bring Ken home.
Yeah, I want to leave as well. But from my medical standpoint, with my injury, I don't even know if I can return at all. So not only do I want to leave, I may not even be able to return anyway. So, you know, when both you and your spouse work for the same company and all of your eggs are in one basket, it's not always the best thing to have. Multiple income streams is always better. And so this is just, you know, it fell into our lap, totally fell into our lap from an injury, from Mary opening her mouth, you know, and like I said, when I looked at it, I was not looking at it as a company or as an opportunity. I just wanted help with what I was dealing with, the pain that I was dealing with, and found success. And then the rest is there. This is a great idea. This is a great company. Great compensation plan, and just started running with it. So we're getting there.
So for a lot of people, that the product experience solidifies or validates the business opportunity. So, you know, people can be hungry for the business. And once they have a product experience, or even if they just love somebody that has a product experience, maybe it didn't happen to them, but it happened to somebody close to them, and they witnessed what this technology can do for people. What happens is it does become a moral obligation to get the word out, because we know that there are people out there that don't know that this exists, and it really can help them get better. Right. Yep. So that, I make it a habit, and maybe you guys can chime in on this, but I make it a habit of letting people know that this company was headed down a pharmaceutical path, and they turned down a huge offer from a pharmaceutical company and release this discovery directly to the people, so that regular people like you and I have access to this technology at a reasonable price, which if they didn't make that decision, I just can't even imagine how many people would still be suffering.
Yeah, it's definitely made a huge difference for me.
Yeah. Mary, were you saying something?
I was saying, and the price would probably be twice as high.
Oh, yeah. More than twice.
Yeah. More
than twice. Well, we're here at the bottom of the half hour. I just want to open it up for just any final comments about, the topic at hand is building a leg and really digging a leg deep. You know, I know that one of the mistakes that I made at the very beginning of my network marketing career is that I would sponsor a person, and then I would go on to the next person, I'd sponsor them, and I'd go on to the next person, I'd sponsor them. And one of the coaches that I was working with is, Cindy, when you sponsor somebody that wants to build a business, you have to help them build a business. You can't just go on to the next person. So hopefully tonight's been an example of how we've really focused in on each individual person and gone down and down and down and down a leg, and really understood what that person wants and how we can help them. And some people just want to build a little business and have a little bit of income come in, maybe just offset the cost of their product. Other people really want to create a part-time income stream to just kind of take the heat off, take some of the edge off of the financial burden. Other people want to replace their full-time income. And you know what Michael had said about replacing her income and her husband's income. And other people see how huge this is and really want to go big time. I mean, and just think, well, shoot, if it's out there, I might as well go for it, because, you know, people that have more money can have more choices and can do incredible things. So any final comments before we wrap it up tonight?
I'm just going to say hide and watch. You guys hide and watch. And it is, you know, I'm going to hats off to Carol Carter also, because, you know, Carol has worked really consistently, very hard, and she has really stuck with this. There we go, stuck with it, and continues to talk and do her networking, you know, her business networking groups. And she's even been doing speed networking as well, finding different people. And so again, you know, I love what you said, Cindy, about supporting people and helping them grow their businesses, because it's critical to do that. And I'm very blessed to be working with these folks, because they're wonderful people.
Thank you.
Michael, Mary, anything else before we wrap it up tonight?
Nope. It's a wonderful company, and I'm so impressed. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have you all in Colorado to be there for Michael, since I'm not.
Absolutely. But you're only a Zoom away, Mary.
Yeah.
Right.
And hopefully you've gotten the feeling that it's a real team sport. It's not a business that you build on your own. It's a business that you build with other people. Nobody makes it in this business by themselves.
No.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure working with all of you guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And yeah, onward and upward to the top, right?
That's right. Here we go.
There we go. Blessings, everybody.
Blessings.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.